Sophomore center fielder Luis Guerrero, who is from the Bronx in New York City, hadn't heard about the Miami Dade College Sharks until a friend told him about the school and the baseball team a couple of years ago. He said it was a great program with a lot of tradition. Guerrero said, "I looked it up, came to the school, liked it a lot. They had a lot of pro guys, a lot of D1 athletes, that's actually an understatement." The MDC program rivals any school in the country, including the University of Miami, in terms of sending players to the pro ranks and the major leagues. Back when MDC had baseball teams at 3 of its campuses, coached by legends Demi Mainieri at Dade North, Charlie Green at Dade South and Steve Hertz at Dade Downtown, this community college was a can't-miss stop for MLB scouts. Hall of Famers Steve Carlton and Mike Piazza were once on MDC rosters. Other MDC alumni include Placido Polanco, Raul Ibanez, Bucky Dent, Warren Cromartie, Alex Fernandez, Orestes Estrada, Mickey Rivers and Andres Torres. This past June, 6 current and 3 former MDC players were drafted by major league organizations. In addition, in the past 2 years alone, 5 MDC players have made their major league debuts: pitchers Derek Law and Jarrell Cotton, catcher, first baseman Victor Caratini and outfielders Brian Goodwin and Jabari Blash. On the field, the last huge year for MDC was in 2014, when coach Danny Price led the Sharks all the way to second place in the JUCO World Series. This past weekend, the Sharks got off to a 2-0 start for 2019, including an 8-1 win over Chipola, the 2-time reigning national champion. "It sweetens the pot when you play the champs," veteran MDC pitching coach Kevin Long said. "Our kids played with a lot of energy. They were into every pitch." Price, who is also assisted by 2 former MDC players, recruiting coordinator, hitting coach Adrian Morales and infield base running coach Antonio Alvarez, likes the look of his 2019 club. "Chemistry," Price said, "is key. Our 2014 club was more of a team," said Price, who is in his 9th year at MDC after 3 decades leading the FIU program. "Last year was more of a team of prospects. It was a hard team to manage because they were prospects. They kind of stayed prospects, and I don't mean that in a bad way because they were great kids. This team, I don't see as much prospect talent, but I see a really good team. This team has a lot of depth. I am really going to have to work to write a lineup due to so many comparable options." An example of that depth was seen in the Chipola game, when the Sharks got terrific production from the 8th and 9th batters in their lineup. Catcher Nico Martinez hit a 2-run homer from the 8th spot, and shortstop Ralphie Almanzar went 2 for 2 with 2 walks and 3 runs scored from the 9th spot. In addition, reliever Henry Ogando earned the win with 5 strikeouts in 4 scoreless innings. Guerrero, the leadoff batter, went 2 for 5 with 2 RBI. "He hits the ball really hard," Long said of Guerrero, who played second base last before he was switched to center field to take advantage of his speed. "He has tools." Other MDC starters include first baseman Chris Borer, second baseman Mike Alicia, third baseman Jarrett Bickle, right fielder Jose Cristomo Bach, left fielder Brian Sanduro and DH Ian Claudio. Alicia's uncle, by the way, is former Major League infielder Luis Alicia. The pitching staff, besides Ogando, includes Blake Baker, Ethiel Freites, Jesus Valoy, Gabriel Figueroa and Colin Kiernan. Closer as Orlando Ribalta, a 6'7", 245-pounder whose fastball has reached 97 miles per hour. "He throws a ton of strikes downhill," Long said. "He tried to be a position player, and that didn't work out. But he's very athletic, and he's close to finding a legitimate breaking ball, which would be big for him. If it goes like it has for decades at MDC, players such as Ribalta, Guerrero and others will develop and reach the pro ranks, continuing the proud tradition." Other local schools: Barry University coach Juan Renero's last season, 22-28, 9-21, top players, Andrew Raposa, Jr. of Miles Gayman, Jr., RHP, J.C. Garcia, Jr., 2B. Noteworthy, the Bucks have had 20 players drafted since 2009, including Jonathan Quintana in the 31st round last year by the Nationals. Off this year's team, Gayman, a Penn State transfer with a mid-90s fastball, is projected to be drafted in the top 12 rounds, and Raposa is a preseason All-South region selection. Raposa hit .352 last season with a .901 ups. Nova Southeastern University coach Greg Brown's last season, 35-16, 24-6. Top players: Garrett Wolforth, Sr. C. Samuel Durant, Sr. of Ian Acevedo, Sr. 3B. Noteworthy, under Brown, NSU has made the NCAA tournament in 6 of the past 8 years. This year, the Sharks are ranked 20th nationally by Collegiate Baseball News, and Durant is a preseason All-American. NAIA Florida Memorial coach Florentino Burgos last season, 26-21, 13-11 Sun Conference. Top players: Edgar Aparicio, Jr. RHP, Christian Rivera, Jr. RHP. Noteworthy, Burgos was named Coach of the Year by Black College Nines as the Lions improved from 10-30 to 26-21 in his second season on the job. Sergio Chil has departed the roster after winning the Sun Conference batting title with a .431 average. This year, the Lions are picked to finish 5th in the league, and they have added ex-Major Leaguer Antonio Alfonseca as their pitching coach. Street Thomas coach Jorge Perez last season, 56-9, 22-2 Sun Conference. Top players: Jackie Urbaez, Sr. 2B, Chris Garabedian, Sr. 1B, 3B, Orlando Rodriguez, Sr. RHP. Noteworthy, the Bobcats made their 6th trip to the NAIA World Series last year. The Bobcats had 3 players drafted by MLB last season. Perez coached Team USA in Cuba last July. NJCAA Community Colleges ASA coach Robert Martins last season, 23-25. Top players: Jose Ulloa, So. RHP, Alejandro Vasquez, So. SS, Eduardo Castillo, FR. C. Noteworthy, Martin replaces Jonathan Hernandez, who became head coach at Bethune-Cookman. Ulloa, by the way, has committed to Bethune-Cookman. Broward College coach John Broderick last season, 32-14. Top players: Andrew Fernandez, So. C. Ed Arteaga, So. LF 1B, Zach Sprinkle, FR. RHP. Noteworthy, Seahawks won the Southern Conference last season, but Ben Bizier bolted for another coaching job. In July, the Seahawks had no staff and a depleted roster before 12 players were signed. Broderick is a former Broward College shortstop. Miami Dade College coach Danny Price last season, 35-17, 18-10. Top players: Orlando Ribalta, So. RHP, Michael Licia, So. INF, Luis Guerrero, So. CF. Noteworthy, MDC, which finished second in the nation as recently as 2014, had 6 of its players drafted by MLB last season, a remarkable number but in line with the grand history of this program that once had Hall of Famers Steve Carlton and Mike Piazza on its roster.